All right, so if you have two electron domains, this is the geometric arrangement it'll attain. This is a linear geometry, and it's a 180-degree bond angle. Here we would have an atom, here would be the other atom. The bond angle between the adjacent atoms is 180 degrees. Now be careful, when we're looking at this two electron domains, we must have a central atom. Here's the central atom. So there must still be three atoms present. A great example of this would be carbon dioxide. Carbon is the central atom, and it's got two atoms coming off of it, two electron domains. Carbon dioxide forms a linear geometry. If you only have a molecule that's got two atoms, it can only ever be linear. There is no central atom. It's like 2 points in geometric space. No matter how you move them, they always can connect in a straight line. So we're looking here at molecules in which there is a central atom, which is signified by the yellow atom in the middle. If there are three electron domains, the best bond angle we can do is 120. This molecule is planar, which means it all exists on the same plane, x and y. It's a flat molecule. Planar means flat, 120 degrees. If we get four electron domains, now we get a tetrahedral geometry, which means the bond angle is 109.5 degrees. So you can see as we get more electron domains, the bond angle is getting smaller and smaller. 5 electron domains and 6 electron domains only occurs if the molecule is hypervalent. So now we are going to go over the octet rule. If it has 5 electron domains, it more than likely has got 10 electrons around the central atom, and if it's got 6, it's got 12. You can never have more than 12 electrons around the central atom. If it's got 10, it has a trigonal bipyramidal shape, and it's got 120 degrees and 90 degrees. This is the only one that has multiple bond angles. And lastly, if it's got 6 electron domains, the best bond angle we can do to separate those electron domains is 90 degrees, or an octahedral geometry. So bond angles, there are only these possible bond angles that are present in any molecule, and these are the angles that are the maximum separation that you will have to do all the practice problems in the packet so that you get really good practice at determining the bond angles. All right, this lecture is going to be on molecular geometries, and molecular geometries is looking at the 3D shape of a molecule. What does the molecule actually look like in real life? Now again, a Lewis structure is a two-dimensional structure in which we only have the x and y plane to work with. So it is not really gives us an idea of what the molecule looks like in real life. The purpose of a Lewis structure is just to tell me the bonding arrangement. Who's bonded to who and in what type of a bond, and are there any lone pairs of electrons present, which you've already done. Now in molecular geometries, you need to look at the Lewis structure and then identify the number of electron domains and figure out the molecular geometry. And that really just comes down with doing lots of practice. It's a very quick technique as long as you know the number of electron domains and what basic shape they attain. So here you see a chemical compound, and I'm looking at X. When we're looking at a geometry, we are looking at the central atom, which is X. What is the geometric shape that surrounds it? All of these outer atoms, called adjacent or terminal atoms, these guys are only bonded to one atom, and that can only be a linear geometry for them. It's the central atom that we are looking at. Now, an electron domain is defined, and that's a word you want to utilize. You want to use the word electron domain. An electron domain is an area of electron density. It's a bond or it's a pair of lone pairs on the central atom. So we're looking at this molecule right now. How many electron domains does it possess? You should have said 4. There's a bond here, a bond here. The double bond, it's still just one area. A double bond or triple bond counts as only one electron domain. Okay, so it's one more, and it has a lone pair. It has 4 electron domains. So this molecule wants to attain a shape in which we can separate those 4 electron domains as far away as possible because electrons repel other electrons. So we want to get them as far away from each other to reach the most stable configuration. So in an FRQ, sometimes they'll ask you to explain what shape is attained by this molecule and why. You want to go ahead and say it's tetrahedral or trigonal planar, okay, whatever geometric shape you determine it to be. But you'll say this molecule reaches a trigonal pyramidal geometric shape because it, keyword here, maximizes the electron domain separation. It gets them as far away as possible, and this minimizes the electron repulsion. And this is the most stable shape because it does that. It separates them the most and causes the least electron repulsion. So that's how if you're asked to justify your bond angle, or if you're asked to justify the geometry, that's what you want to say. This geometry maximizes the electron domain separation, and that minimizes the electron repulsion. That's the verbiage you want to use. All right, so are those the only geometric name shapes? And the answer is no. So if you have 3 electron domains, it's a trigonoplanar geometry. But one of those electron domains could be a lone pair. Here we see an example of that, which is the nitrite ion. So the nitrite's got a lone pair for one of the electron domains, a double bond, and a single bond to oxygens. So these numbers both add up to 3, which means there are 3 electron domains total. And whenever there's 3, it'll reach a 120-degree bond separation. Now, we only call it trigonoplanar if all of those areas are bonds. If not, if one of those areas is a lone pair, we cover up this lone pair and we look at what's left, and you'll see the only thing left between the atoms is a V. And whenever anything develops a V pattern, 2 atoms coming off, this is called bent. So this is a bent shape, but it has 120 degrees. Down here you'll notice this guy is also bent, but it's only 109 degrees because of the fact that it adds up to 4 electron domains. 3 plus 1, 4. 4 plus 0, 4. So all these have 4 electron domains. If they are all bonds, it's tetrahedral. If one of them is a lone pair and 3 bonds, it's trigonal pyramidal. It's shaped, okay, like a pyramid, all right, in which the lone pair is coming off the top, or it's bent, and again, in a bent pattern, the central atom and the 2 other atoms forms a bent V. So you're going to have to get down these geometric names, and that's going to come down with just a bunch of doing lots of practice problems and memorizing these table names. Okay? Lastly, what happens when it's hypervalent? Now, once we get to here, we end up having to be hypervalent again. So again, we're looking at more than 8. The 5 one is quite weird in the fact that the first one is if they're all bonds, it's trigonal bipyramidal, and the atoms have multiple bond angles because it's 120 degrees with the 3 atoms that forms a disk, but then it's 90 degrees to the top and bottom ones. That's why there's 2 different bond angles. But when we start adding lone pairs, the lone pairs go in the disk of material because lone pairs occupy more electron area than bonds do. So they have to go in the 120-degree larger bond angle disk. So if I put that in the disk, this is what the molecule looks like if I flip it. And you'll notice that the atoms are here, 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 and here. Here's my 120 disk, but the lone pair is on top. And you can see if I put some kids on here that this indeed does look like a seesaw. This is seesaw geometry. This is a new geometric shape that you do not have in honors chemistry. If there's 2 electron domains and 3 bonds, 2 go in the disk. What's left, you'll notice, looks exactly like a T, T-shaped. The bond angle now is not 120 and 90 because the atoms that are only left, when we look at bond angles, I'm only looking at the atoms, not the lone pairs. The 3 atoms are separated by 90 degrees. And if there's 3 lone pairs, now the 2 atoms are directly across from each other, and that again creates a linear geometry. So we can get some of these names like linear more than one time based on the result. You just have to know where to put the lone pairs and then look at what the shape would be left over. There's 6 electron domains. If they're all atoms, it's octahedral. Everything's 90 degrees. If one of them is a lone pair, that'll go off of one of the spots. If you notice what's left, if I look at the shape, now it's a pyramid, but it's got a square base versus a triangular base. So now this is called square pyramidal. And again, the bond angles here for all these, the nice thing about them is they're all 90 degrees. And lastly, if there's 2 lone pairs, they go across from each other, and now we got a molecule that is perfectly flat, a sheet of paper, and it's in a square, so it's square planar. Okay, so those are all of the geometric shape names and the bond angles that result. So now go through your tables and put down the geometric shape and bond angles and just get practice doing that and utilizing these shapes. The more reps you do, the better you get at it, and it'll be easier for not only the test but the national exam to remember it. Thank you.